How's it going, everyone? We're here for a big Rust update. We're here with the November update, and as always, we're going to start out with the small stuff like quality of life and so forth before we jump into all the stuff that we can show you in game. But we've got some new weapons and news on a lot of cool stuff, so let's get it rolling. First thing up is going to be IO arrows, and basically with anything in the IO area, you know, electricity, water, so forth, they're going to have arrows that show you the path of the way. We'll definitely show you this here shortly in game. Also, floating objects will now drift down river along with the current, so things like corpses, boogie boards, boats, and so forth will start to drift along their way. Another thing, CCTVs have had some changes when it comes to being in monuments. If people are talking over voice, you can hear them through the CCTV, and people can also shoot and disable the cameras, which will turn them off for 5 minutes, in which they will then reboot. Another thing they've added is copy-paste IDs for easier reporting if you are dealing with some issues or cheaters in game. And lastly, the well vendor is now at every well instead of just some of them, which is quite nice. They've also added in the Jester DLC pack, which is very, very fun. If you want to check this out, I show a demonstration of all the different things in my skin video, which I posted earlier today. But in it includes 8 new gestures and a minigame, the rock, paper, scissors. And the cool thing is, if you have this gesture pack, you can play rock, paper, scissors with anyone, regardless as if they have the pack or not. And then you've got loser, knuckle crack, no, or wagging finger, cutthroat, 2 different shushes, a watching you, and finger guns. So you can see they kind of have some demonstrations here, but like I said, you can check out my other video. Then there's some little details about the rock, paper, scissors right here. And it has a new feature, which is something very important. So we're going to switch over to the game and show you that. Alright, so if you're in your menu now, you should notice that there's a gestures option right under user interface. And this is where you can customize and assign your gestures. There's a reset to default in case you feel like you messed it up. And then there are now 2 wheels. And this is where, if you pick up the gesture pack, the new ones will have space to go, but you can fully rearrange them however you want. I'll do a demonstration here. We'll remove the knuckle crack simply by right-clicking on it. Then you can left-click, and it will give you options to select from the ones that you don't have out, as well as a little visual guide to show you in case you forgot what it is. Then you just simply left-click again to add it to where you want it to be. And then if we pop into game and you pull up your gesture wheel, you'll see to get to the second one, it is simply Q and E to pass between the 2. So there we have that. Let's go check out what else we've got. Alright, but before we hop directly into game and show you the 2 brand new weapons, let's talk about a couple other things that are weapons coming on the way, so to say. So we have Seige Weapons and Sheilds and a new Crossbow. So let's see. Let's go ahead and cover them. First things first, we actually have no images for the Crossbow whatsoever. So all we've got really is the thing. We just see it's a 4-shot mini crossbow. So there you go. It's going to be a mini crossbow that has 4 shots. Now, if you go ahead and Google that, there's some cool looking things. So, hey, that could be pretty neat. The next thing is going to be shields, and shields are still very much in the early workings. You can see this picture here, and this picture and the pictures of the Seige weapons I actually got from Rustify's website, but originally it came from Shelby's Twitter, I believe. So I'm going to link Shelby down in my description below as a shout out, because I believe that is originally where all of these images came from. If I'm wrong, please correct me, somebody. But anyways, you guys should check them out. They also have some videos on there kind of spinning around the models if you want to check out that stuff in more detail. But basically, we've got, these 3 different siege machines. And I mean, the first thing, it's pretty, straight up. It's a catapult. So you've got this catapult, and I really love the look of it because it's a mix of scrap metal and wood, rubber tires, a rubber bin, but it still looks medieval, but it doesn't, and it just completely screams Rust. Then the next thing we have is a battering ram, and this thing has part of an old excavator on it. Then it has a backhoe bucket in the front, as the battering ram, and then the whole thing is made out of old logs, and again, it just really has that Rust feel, and this thing's going to be really crazy looking. I mean, I can't wait to see these actually modeled out and fully painted in and all their details. And then last, of course, there's a towable ballista. Now, from what I'm understanding from the notes, all of these should be towable. What does towable mean? I don't know. Does that mean behind a horse and a car, or both, or neither? They have talked about doing wagons and towable carts before, so hey, this could be the first iteration of this. But this is still very much in the early stages, so for, who knows how much longer it's going to take for them to pop up into the game. But it's definitely something that I see really fun. I think a lot of people will love seeing much more weapons come in. Of course, a new crossbow, I mean, that's kind of primitive. Then we've got ourselves Seige Weapons, and then we've got sword and shield mechanics coming. I think that's going to be pretty exciting. One of the other upcoming things seems to be an I/O table, and according from what the devs seem to be saying, they're going to be using it as kind of a separate research for all of the I/O stuff. So that's going to be things like, the electrical and the hoses for water and so forth. And if that is what they mean, I think they're saying that they're going to remove all of those items out of the tier 1, 2, and 3 benches. Well, 3 doesn't really have that stuff, but you get what I'm saying, and move it to its own research. And that would help people progress through the trees much, much easier. It would change up the game quite a bit. So this could be something that is quite important. We'll just have to see as more information surfaces on this one. Also looks like we have an upcoming item or event kind of thing called ice sculptures, and it looks like they will be something that we can actually sculpt by hitting it with certain tools. I don't know if different tools will do different effects, but as we have more information, I'll bring it to you. Lastly, before we move on, there seems to be Rust Mobile is going to be a thing. So how exactly that's going to work, which version of the game it is, I'm not entirely all sure. But Facepunch has opened a Discord that everyone can join if they are interested. So I'll link that Discord down in the video description for you. And yeah, well, looks like Rust Mobile is something coming on the way. Another little thing is radioactive water has gotten a buff. It has an increase from sprinklers from 70%. Wow. And that means the irradiation amounts being splashed on people from, like, say, a bucket is now 40%. So that's 70%. That is pretty big from sprinklers. You can set up some cool little traps. The mixing table has also seen some improvements, which we will also show you. But basically, you can go ahead and shift-click and put the ingredients into the bench, which is really, really nice. Last but not least, there has been some improvement, and many official servers in Eastern Europe have been upgraded, which is nice. You can read more about that on here. And there is a anti-cheat update as well about all the bans and other stuff they're doing and what they're working on next. So you guys want to see that in detail, you can go ahead and check that out. And then we also have copy and paste for server admins, which is really cool. You can set up your server and allow you to actually copy and paste down the same buildings from previous wipes or whatever. And it's just a really nice, useful thing to not need plugins for that anymore. There's a wiki link that you can click on in the dev blog, which I'll have the dev blog linked down in my video description below. Last but not least, there are also the Twitch drops, which my video will be dropping tomorrow or the day of the drops themselves. So you'll have to check that out, but it's definitely a big one with a lot of really great drops. Lastly, there's a 40% off flash sale for Rust from the 7th to the 9th. So if you know someone who needs it, there it is. So let's go ahead and check out all of this stuff in game. Alright, so one of the other things in this update is going to be the first improvement to animal AI, and they started with the wolves. So Maverick here has been working really hard on it, and yeah, it's been full-time AI, and they're having fun, so that's actually good to hear. And the main question, well, they're asking why. And, you know, everyone's always kind of said animals are a little bit derpy, so, you know, you can read in their own words why here and how it's important. They want to get rid of the frustration of things, like how they would run away right as you're about to kill them and disappear up a hill. It's just kind of weird. They clip through foundations and things like that. So what he did here is they went through an exhaustive list of, like, new behaviors, and it's just really, really cool. There's a lot of things that the wolves can do, and right here they want to leave it as a surprise, and we'll kind of leave it at that too, but we are kind of an informational video. So what I'm going to say is gunfire, weapons kind of depend on how wolves will treat you if you're alone or wounded, so forth. The pack can gang up on you, and they're not exactly fans of fire, so we'll kind of go with that. And we'll spawn in a few wolves and kind of show you the behavior here in game. So let's go ahead and jump right into that. Alright, so I found some wolves. I think there's at least 3 of them, and this one appears to be stalking me right now. Oh! Okay. Oh! He bit me once. See, he did not like the fire, even though it's daytime. I'm very nervous about where the other 2 went. Also don't want to really turn my back on this guy. Oh. He's definitely staying around to fight more. He's calling for help, I think? Yep. Oh, here come the other ones. Oh. Oh, and they got me. Alright, well there you can see that already is a huge improvement on the wolf AI. I'm going to let you guys play around with them yourselves, but keep in mind, like I said, fire and aggressiveness, they're going to obviously call in other ones. You can hear them eating me right now, which is great. Another little thing, they can jump now. So you're like, what do you mean jump? You mean like jump at me? Well, yeah, but I mean like up foundations. So just keep that in mind. We're going to leave that one there for everybody to have a little bit of fun with. We also do have one more quality of life thing. You'll notice that the flashlight itself has actually changed a bit and should be a little bit brighter. There's kind of like a haze to it, as you can see as we're moving around, and it's kind of more like a cleaner white light. So yeah, I think it's a nice little improvement, and I feel like a lot of people should like it. It kind of, you know, works nicely on the hills and so forth. And then it's worth mentioning too that the rocks around old monuments have actually been updated and should be all the new rocks. So a lot of people are getting hung up on the old topology and stuff before. Now that shouldn't be an issue as it has been updated. So there is that for some more quality of life stuff. Alright, and as promised, I said I would show the new mixing table so people could see what I mean. And we'll basically just empty it right here, and let's say we want to do this recipe. So boom. Oh, we don't have the berries for it, so we want to do this recipe. Boom. So it puts in 1. If you click again, another set, another set, another set, so etc. So that's just kind of how that works. It's just a nice little convenient thing. You just gotta make sure you have everything in there. I kept clicking on things with yellow berries, and it's the one berry I didn't give myself. And then when it comes to IO changes, as you'll see right here, it shows the input with a blue arrow and the outputs with red arrows. That, of course, can be changed if you go into your options and you go to accessibility. Those are all the color options under there, of course. And then when we pull out the tool, you'll actually see that it highlights whatever thing you may be hovering over. It will show you the inputs and outputs, etc. So again, it's just a really nice little quality of life thing to help people understand things a little bit better. But let's go ahead and take a look at those new guns, because I know that's what everyone is waiting to see. Alright, so let's hop into game here and take a look at the 2 weapons that are being added in today that we can check out. So we've got the Tier 1 SMG. Look at that in its glory. It's rusty, it's made of pipes and spare wood, and it's so absolutely beautifully done. We go ahead and reload it. You'll see that it holds 18 rounds. It's a pretty decently fast fire rate. Question on ammo, yes, it can use any pistol ammo, so you can switch to incendiary, whatever you may like. And there it is. So when it comes to recoil, I'm not going to hold back on it at all. We're just going to start aiming right there. You'll see the demonstration there. And then if we crouch, and lastly crouch and aim down sights. And remember, I am not pulling down on the sight, on my mouse at all. Now, it does have this really messed up sight, and some people have some things to say about it. I think it's fine. It's an SMG. You're not doing precision shots. You're probably walking up to someone and just, like, literally walking up to them and blop, you know? One of those kind of things. So, hey, one way or another, let's go ahead and check out. So, it's going to be 125 to research. It's a workbench level 1. We go ahead and take a look at where it actually is on the actual workbench. In the level 1, it's going to be right here. After you learn revolver, you can go ahead and learn it right after. Now, what kind of things are compatible with it? Every single attachment is compatible with the Tier 1 SMG. So there you go. You don't have to pick and choose. You can add an extra magazine extender. You can use any scope. You can use any muzzle attachment, etc. So there we have that. Let's look at the crafting of it. If we go ahead and check it out, it's going to be right here, and it's going to be 5 high qual, 200 metal frags, and a spring. It's going to take you 7.5 seconds to craft that. So there you have that. And is that 7.5 seconds? Sounds a little too fast to me. 1 second there. 30 seconds. That sounds better. I was like, wait, we're next to Tier 3 workbench. So 30 seconds to craft. That is what we have going on right there. So there it is, the Tier 1 SMG. Definitely cool to see some new early weapons in the game. And, well, the SKS is here, and, well, everybody, it is not a skin. It is an actual weapon, and it's being added in just like everyone asked, and that is so cool because this is just such a beautiful model. I really love the work that went into this, and it just absolutely sounds great, it looks great, and it's amazing to see that this thing is making its way as a new weapon today. So, if we go ahead and take a look over here, we've got a workbench level 3 requirement, 125 to research it. And if we go ahead and take a look where it is, it's actually literally right here, the first thing on Tier 3 for you to learn. And we'll take a look at the stats here. You'll see it does damage of 43, accuracy of 4, recoil 3.8, fire rate of 400, and a range of 293. Just like the custom SMG here, or sorry, custom SMG, the scrap SMG Tier 1. There we go. The SKS can use any attachment, which is quite nice. So let's go ahead and... Oof, definitely has a really nice sound to it. It's changed a little bit, but it's still incredibly satisfying. So we're just going to go ahead and shoot without anything or anything. Quite a bit of recoil there, but, you know, it's rifle. So then if we go ahead and zoom, crouch, and crouch with aim down sights. There you go, you kind of have your ideas right there. So the SKS is here, everyone. So let's take a look at how to make it, right? So you're going to need that workbench level 3. It's going to be a semi-body, 2 metal springs, 200 metal frags, and 12 high qual. So that's actually not too bad, and it's nice to see another higher weapon, you know, higher tier weapon using a semi-body. So that's pretty nice in addition to that. So sound off in the comment section below. Which one are you the most excited for? I mean, you can be excited for both of them, but, you know, which gun can you not wait to get your hands on in this update?